What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Wager Alarm live stream. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish. I gotta tell you, I don't know if it's only because it was the first week of the season and I've been without meaningful football games since the Super Bowl. But man, this was some hell of a week one. We finish out ahead in our contest, but this was some exciting stuff going on.
Yeah, the games were great. There was a lot of games going right down to the end in terms of the spread. Not so much in the college games, but yeah, in the pro games for sure. And we'll get into them all. We'll go over our picks in the Golden Nugget. We'll go over our picks in the Super Contest. We'll give you a preview of the weekend. But I would say the win that drove home the good week for us was the Raiders winning on Monday night at home. And it was just such a satisfying win because it felt like last year home dogs won again on Monday night, but not when we took them. It was like, oh, they won last week, let's go with them this week. Oh, it didn't happen. Home dogs on Monday night continue to deliver the highest percentage of winning in professional sports betting in terms of football. And we kind of blindly did it. We're like, oh, the Raiders. I was watching the game. I'm like, oh, they're going to lose. And you know what? It was playing out that way. I'm like, they're going to blow it somehow, but we'll probably cover. And that, did they deserve to win the game or not? I don't know. I mean, they played great for about like 15 minutes in the game. The rest of the game, they looked terrible. But very, very happy. Winning week in the Golden Nugget. Winning week in the Super Contest. When you're betting on sports, if you're above 500, you're doing something right. We've been over 500 for many years doing this, so week one, well done on both sides for sure.
Week one, well done. Let's just do a quick recap of our tickets. Let's start off with the Westgate Super Contest. We picked 5 games against the spread. The Super Contest puts out their spreads on Wednesday, and then that freezes the line. So it's always good to check in, see what kind of value you're getting later on as the lines move. But, week one, this was like, oh.
It was wacky.
That one. So we go 3-2. Our losses were the Bills laying the points and the Packers laying the points. I mean, Bills, Steelers, Packers against the I don't even remember who the Packers lost to. It was so gross and upsetting. Oh, yes, it was the Saints.
Yeah, and we were on the public side, shockingly. We're never on the public side. We were on the public side of both those games, Buffalo and Green Bay, and favorites just did not cover in week one of the NFL. It's like we went 3-2, and I can't complain, but sort of I feel like shame on me. Like I should have known. Like we were like forcing dogs into our picks, and because we knew that.
Right.
We were like, we cannot do this. We're going to lose. We have to have some underdogs. So we're like shifting picks off at the last minute. What dog do you like? What dog do you like? And it is the nature of betting in the NFL. Like there's 17 weeks or 18 weeks this year. I don't know. But almost all of them, the dogs are going to cover, and some the favorites will. But in general, that's the way it works. But look, looking back on it, I mean, I know how you feel about it. Like you feel like who saw this coming with the Saints destroying Green Bay? I agree with you, but I feel like that line should have told me not to take the Packers there. I don't know. Buffalo, I have no regrets. They just got manhandled by Pittsburgh. Don't really particularly feel bad about that one. I thought that was the right side going in. Clearly, it was not. Buffalo also led in that game early too. I felt like it was cruising along. But why we focus so much on the losses, Howard? I thought we had 3 really strong picks in the NFL.
We definitely did. The 49ers tried to give it away on us against the Lions, but they managed to cover. We got it at 7.5. I think it went up to 9.5 at one point, and then I think it came down to 8.5 is where it settled right beforehand. So felt like we were good here on the minus 7.5. That realm. That was a great pick. The Raiders on Monday night was a great pick also. I mean, that's just the blind. You let the trend be your friend. That's what you said to me years and years ago.
Yeah.
But I think the best pick was the pick that you and I, like, when we were kind of going over everything, we both hit on this one pick, this one dog, and we said, this is what we want. This is what we like. It was our pick of the week. And that was taking the Eagles, getting 3 points, and they absolutely whooped in their win against the Falcons. Whooped them.
Yeah, and there's a massive overreaction probably on Atlanta. Philadelphia, I mean, look, it's 1 week. I don't know what to make of it, but I think their demise and I think their win total was just way too low going into the season. Hurts brings a different dynamic to that team. You saw Carson Wentz play for Indianapolis. You saw Jalen Hurts play for Philadelphia. It's very clear to me who the better quarterback is of the two. I think Gainwell adds a little bit. Rager played well. Devonta Smith played well. I'm not going to overreact and say Philadelphia is going to win the division or win 11 games. But who did Atlanta, what business did they have being 3-point favorites over anyone in the NFL after the season that they had last year? It didn't make any sense to me. And yes, that was our, normally we're pretty good with that favorite pick of the week. And we did use them in the Super Contest, and we also used them +3 in the Golden Nugget. And to me, Philadelphia is one of the most impressive performances of the week. You could say the Saints for sure. No doubt they played really well. But I thought that what Philadelphia did to Atlanta, a pretty good offense in the past, was pretty impressive. So 3-2 in the Super Contest.
Yep. And now if you look over at the Golden Nugget, we went through, you picked 7 games. We took 3 college and we took 4 pro. Mm-hmm. Here you go. In the realm of coulda, shoulda, woulda, Craig, we probably should have just gone with the Raiders, the blind. Let's take the Monday night dog and not taking the Packers, because we finished up 2-2 in our pro games, because you take away the Raiders there, and then in college, listen, man, the Rutgers pick solid, didn't seem to be in doubt at all. Mm-hmm. The Arkansas pick was phenomenal.
Maybe the pick of the week in all of sports betting. Arkansas annihilated Texas to the point, Howard, where they benched the quarterback for Texas after the game. They're starting a new quarterback this week. It's getting 7 and winning by like 30. You pray for that every year. Like you hope to have one of those the whole year. We got it in week 1, +7 outright by like 3 touchdowns. And then the one loss was Utah BYU. I had mentioned that like Utah had beaten BYU 9 times in a row. That streak ended. It was not close. That was the wrong side. BYU dominated Utah. But look, 2 out of 3, 66%. You'll take it all day long. Overall, 4-3 in the Super Contest. I'm sorry, 4-3 in the Golden Nugget, and 3-2 in the Super Contest. So take a deep breath. Now we have some things we've seen. It makes it, I think, a little bit easier. I feel a lot better because I looked in the Nugget and I looked at the Super Contest. There were a lot of 1-6s in the Golden Nugget. There was a ton of 1-4s in the Super Contest after week 1 too. So we made it through the first week. Now it's time to build on that and stay over 500 the whole year.
All right. Well, let's do it. Let's. You want to talk about what we see in the lines coming up this week, or do you want to just jump right into a Thursday night lean? You got Giants against the Washington football team. It's the footballs given 3. You want to hit that one?
Yeah, we'll go in order. Sure. Yeah. Why not? I don't know. I mean, to me, Howard, I can't take the Giants. I cannot do it. They to me have a chance to be the worst team in the NFL, worse than Houston, worse than Detroit. Although Detroit seems to be losing guys to injury now too. That's not going to help them either. But Howard, I don't know about you, but the Giants look like horrible, and I'm really worried that they're going to end up only winning 1 or 2 games this season. Kind of felt like that going in, but even more so after they got just destroyed by Denver of all teams. By the way, that game was kind of close in the first half too. Want to mention that too. I don't think Denver deserves to be a huge favorite this week either. But I could only lean Washington. It would be I don't care who's at quarterback. I can't take the Giants. I can't do it. So I would just lean Washington. I don't think we're going to use it in the Super Contest. So we'll just pass on that, I guess. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
That's a definite pass on that. That's a definite pass. And the over-under is low too. It's 40.5. I don't like that either.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that you have 2 quarterbacks that are probably going to make mistakes. So if each one makes 1 mistake in the other team in their own red zone, and that leads to 10 points, which is kind of like how people do math with the turnovers. So you assume that happens on both sides. Can they scrap out 4 touchdowns otherwise? I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd still kind of lean under in an ugly game, but I'm just not interested. Thursday night football, sometimes the games are good, sometimes the games are bad. I just am not interested in this game at all this week.
Yeah, I'm not either. So let's move it on. Let's talk about some of the lines that we're looking at here. I mean, if you want, yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll go in order of the games here. Just give me your thoughts on some of these. I look at the lines and I hear your voice in my head. I always hear it. Oh, that's fishy.
That's
and like all the catchphrases that you and I have in there. Would it be the weirdest thing in the world if this happened? So,
right.
All right. So Saints Panthers.
Okay.
Saints are -4 favorites over here. If everybody was all in on the Saints beating the Packers, why are they only a 4-point favorite over the Panthers, who, not just barely squeaked by the Jets, but it's not like they put up a ton of points. They only put up 19 points.
Yeah, I guess my inclination is to not believe what the Saints did, but you're right. Like, the line is sort of telling you that they're not even sure that what we saw from the Saints is legitimate, because how do you not make them 5-6 point favorites? Not a touchdown, that'd be too much on the road, but like 5-6 point favorites, at Carolina. I still like Carolina and I like what they're doing. It could be the case where Carolina, Howard, just plays a lot of close games all season long and they win some and lose some just based on a pick or a fumble. But I would probably say, it's going to take me some time to get around to liking New Orleans. I really was kind of heavy on them going into the season. So, but again, I'm willing to change and willing to change opinion. But I suppose early on my lean would be Carolina.
All right. Bengals 2.5 point dog on the road to Chicago. I don't love the Bears. I don't know if the Bears deserve to even be
Tuesday, we have Crazy Raccoon.
This is one of those lines where, I hear your voice saying, really, the Bears -2.5. If the Bengals are so bad, then why is it, so close? And that the public's going to be like, oh, so the Bears just have to win by a field goal? That's fine. They can easily do that. I'm leaning Bengals now.
Yeah, I think the thing for me with the Bears, and I'm just going to be honest with you on this, is that until they make the decision to play Fields, I'm still going to fear he's going to come in and win the game for them. Like that. I'm still there, and you saw a little bit of that against the Rams, and it's going to happen. And I don't know. Do you want to be on the side where the game is, where they're losing by 7, and then the second half starts, and here comes Fields, and we lose the bet? That's my concern. It will be with the Bears until they put him in. It's going to happen soon, I think.
Week 4 when they play Detroit. I'm telling you,
you're probably right.
I've been on this prediction for a very long time. I'm going to stick to it there. But
I will tell you this: can we agree to this? If Cincinnati goes and beats Chicago in Chicago, it's going to be week 3. We can agree on that, correct?
Yes, that I will agree with. All right. In Cleveland, the Browns are a 12-point favorite over the Houston Texans. Man, how many people are going to be like, wow, did you see the Texans? Yeah. All their running backs scored. Brandon Cooks, 140 yards, 138 actually. Right? Yeah. Whoa. Give me the Browns. Lay all those big points. I know you hate laying points, Craig.
I do.
I know you hate laying points, but I like it here.
Yeah, I do, but you have to do it. I think this is a wonderful spot to fade the Texans after winning that game last week. And that was a phony win. I don't think they're good at all. Cleveland, again, a perfect team in this spot. Now, listen, I got to tell you, if tomorrow when these lines come out, if they're laying more than 14 points, Howard, I don't want to bet the Browns. I don't want to do that. But if it stays in the 12.5, 13.5 point range, I'm with you. This may be the only favorite that I even like this week. But yeah, I want to fade Houston, and the line tells you that you should not believe what you saw last week. That was a one-time thing, emotions, fans in the stands, first game of the season, all of that thing. Cleveland's a really, really good team. And what I love about betting Cleveland as a favorite is that the expectation is they're going to win and then run the bleep out of the ball for the last 2 quarters and just not let you get the ball back. And I think they'll do that to Houston. So I'm with you there. I do not like laying big points, but I think this is a great spot. This is a good spot. Yeah.
Nice. Rams, Colts in Indianapolis. Home dogs here for the Colts, getting 3.5 against the Rams. I mean, this is an interesting one here because you've got, the Rams looked fantastic the other night against the Bears. Yep. Matt Stafford looked ridiculously happy throwing to his best friend in the world now, Cooper Kupp. So things are all gelling over there. The Colts, they take a tough loss in the in the first week here, but this is a team that really hasn't practiced together much over the last 2 weeks. So it's probably, if I had to lean, I would actually lean Colts in getting the points, but I don't even know if I want to bet this one.
Yeah, Colts are either going to win or cover. That's what the line tells you. I mean, how do the Rams look like they look and be like one of the, look like the best team in the NFL? And if you didn't look at this line and I just said, Howard, what's the line? Rams at Colts, you would have said what? 6.5,
probably,
7?
Yeah.
I mean, the line is sort of telling you that Indy's got a great shot to win this game. And I know that it looked ugly against Seattle, but they're back-to-back home games for Indianapolis, and teams usually don't lose and not cover in both of those. So I think Indy may actually be a pick because it's ugly, it's stinky, it doesn't look good, you don't want to do it. That's usually the right side. So I do kind of like Indianapolis at home.
I love it. You just convinced me.
It looks like a terrible pick.
It was my lean, but
look at our track record for wins and losses. We take the terrible picks win. It just,
all right.
Who in the world in their right mind would take the Colts after what you saw last weekend for the Rams? And then why is the line 4? I mean, this line actually probably you won't even be able to get 4 because the smart people are going to take Indianapolis. I'm thinking this one.
The smart people also probably looking at taking the Jags at home, even after that shellacking that they took at the hands of the Houston Texans. Ooh. Denver, great defense. I love the Denver defense. I really do. I think Vic Fangio does a phenomenal job defensively. But again, we've talked about it being Pat Shurmur's offense, and it's being a very vanilla offense at that. Home game here for the Jaguars after being embarrassed in the first week. Like, embarrassed. Yeah. 6 points. I'll take those points and I'll lay them against Denver.
Yeah, I'm thinking we may have a better plan here than because at first glance I totally agree. Denver does not deserve to be 6-point favorites over anyone. But Howard, we're taking Denver next week no matter what, right? Their first home game.
Their first home game, absolutely.
We're taking them no matter what. It doesn't matter who they're unless the whole team gets wiped out to COVID. Your best bet in the world is taking the Broncos against the spread at home in week 1, whenever they play their first home game. It comes in every year.
It's just insane.
It doesn't make any sense. The teams are tired, I guess, very early on in the season, and it's strange that they have to wait till week 3. So maybe what we do is we don't do any. I don't know. Let's think about it later in the week. But maybe what we do is we root really hard for Jacksonville to win, and then we take Denver week 3 and don't do anything in week 2 with them. Because it's going to be hard because Denver is going to be if they go into Jacksonville, Howard, they're going to be one of the talks of the NFL and they're going to be favored all of a sudden, and it's going to be hard to take them, So, but I'm with you. Weird line once again.
The Denver Broncos, their first home game,
the Giants
next week comes against the New York Jets.
Oh, Jets, yeah. So they're going to
the early line right now is Denver minus 8.5.
Yeah. Ugh. Hate doing laying that with Denver. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be really painful. We have to do it. Got to do it.
All right. Well, let's stick here with week 2, please, for the love of all that is holy. Where are we at here? All right. Bills, Dolphins in Miami. Bills are favored by 3.5.
I think I'll just pass on this one. Buffalo looked really off. Miami did not deserve to win that game at all. Xavier Howard punched the ball out of Damian Harris's hands, and then they sat on it for 2 minutes and won. It easily could have been a New England win. So I guess I would ask the question, if New England would have won, Buffalo probably would have been 4 or 5 point favorites. So it's like they're sort of giving Miami a little bit of a break here. I don't know. I'll check back. Let's check back later in the week on this one. This seems tight.
Another AFC East battle. Patriots visiting the Jets. Patriots are laying 5.5 points.
I get the feeling that the Jets are sort of accepting that they're not going to be that great. That worries me a little bit. It looked like they had to rally pretty hard just to push that game and against Carolina this past week. My lean would be New England. On the road, I think Mac Jones looked really good. The Jets are just really undermanned in terms of talent. So probably just a lean on New England for now. I don't think I can take the Jets.
I don't want that Patriots defense with the Jets losing Mekhi Becton also at left tackle. All right, how's that for being a Jet fan? All right, you watch your franchise quarterback throw his first career touchdown pass, and then you can't even celebrate it because your left tackle is laying down on the ground and needs a cart to be taken off the field. Yikes. No good. San Francisco travels to Philadelphia, and they are a 3.5-point favorite over the Eagles.
Yeah, this is a bad spot for San Francisco. Traveling cross country, you're giving the Eagles points, but the line tells you that they're not sure if the Eagles are legitimate because they beat Atlanta in week 1. San Francisco's defense kind of let them down a little bit, but they do tend to scheme well against these kind of quarterbacks like the one that Philadelphia has. Probably I don't know, probably a little bit of an overreaction. The 49ers probably should be 4 or 5, but because the Eagles won, they're giving them a little bit. I think I still may lean toward the Eagles here. I don't know. Maybe that could be a public play, though. I think a lot of people may take the points with the Eagles after what they saw last week. So,
especially because when you see that Detroit puts up that many points on the vaunted San Francisco defense, then you kind of worry about that. I won't touch this one. I don't like this one. The next one, though, I do kind of like because I feel like the Steelers are giving 5 to the Raiders. Steelers are at home. They're giving 5 to the Raiders. I don't believe that much in the Raiders either.
I agree.
Steelers defense always plays better at home. Big Ben always plays better at home. And I think that a lot of people are going to overestimate what the Raiders are bringing to the table by how exciting an overtime win they had on Monday night against the Ravens.
Yeah, and look, the Steelers for the first 10 games last year won and covered almost every game, so that does make sense. If we are going to take a minus 12.5 and a minus 5.5, we're probably going to have to stop there. That's my only concern with that is that, I don't think we ever want to take 3 out of 5 favorites.
No,
one
we're
to consider.
No.
And one to consider as we get closer.
We're taking the Browns, right? We're looking at that one.
I think so. I will not take a team minus more than 14. I will never do that.
No. I get you. We'll see how the line travels for the week.
Yeah.
But that only leaves us one favorite to take after that.
Right. So maybe it is Pittsburgh. Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
Minnesota traveling to Arizona. Cardinals are a 4.5-point favorite over the Vikings.
Vikings could like Minnesota a lot here.
They just don't have a secondary. They really don't.
Yeah, I could like Minnesota a lot. I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure that Arizona should be this big a favorite over anyone. One good week. I don't know. I think this is a very close game. Very close game. I may like the points here. And I don't like Minnesota, but I may like the points in this game. Kind of screaming to take points here in this and not believe in Arizona a little bit. Remember, Arizona could still win and not cover. So, interesting game.
Is it screaming louder than the 12 points the Falcons are getting against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I'm out on that one. I'm out on that one.
Moving right along.
Yeah. Too many. They're laying a lot of points. They're telling you that Tampa is great. Atlanta's awful after last week. I don't know that I believe that. Tampa Bay is up 28-10 with no time left, and Atlanta scores a touchdown and you lose taking Tampa Bay. I don't know. I'm not in on that one.
The Dallas Cowboys travel to SoFi Stadium. Your favorite, the home favorite, Los Angeles Chargers. Only given 3 points here to the Dallas Cowboys. I know you want Dallas so bad. You want Dallas so bad
They've crushed us too. Total is 55 in an NFL game. 55 in week 1. I mean, I'm still definitely not taking the Chargers. They played well and good enough to win last week. They are horrible betting as a favorite. Maybe things change. Maybe this is the year that they finally deserve to be a favorite and win. It does feel like the world's going to take Dallas in this one too.
Everybody's taking Dallas in this.
Yeah, it does feel like that. All right, let's check back on that.
All right, I can do that. Titans, Seahawks. Here we go. Seahawks at home, the 12th man. They're laying 5 to the Titans. I can't even say that this is an overreaction. I mean, just from what defensively, both teams are bad. Like the Titans D is atrocious, but you look at Seattle's D, their secondary is not what it used to be. Not that Ryan Tannehill's like a big thrower here, but is Seattle going to sell out to stop Derrick Henry? Like that kind of a situation. 5 points, Seattle laying them. I don't know. Where are you leaning on this?
Yeah, I'm with you. This is one of those where I really want to take Tennessee and say it's an overreaction, but they're really not getting enough points to make that happen for me. I'd love to get it. I see 5.5, by the way, but I would love to see Wednesday like a 6 or a 7, and then take the Titans in a game that just goes back and forth, and you're hoping for the team who has last ball wins. Maybe it's Titans, but I'm not quite there on 5 or 5.5. I'm not there.
All right, we'll track that line as well. The Sunday night game, Chiefs, Ravens. Here we go. Obviously, there's no overreaction to the Ravens losing on Monday night because it's a 3.5-point game. I see the Chiefs are the favorite. You got home dog Ravens, but it's only 3.5. That's not enough point. That's not enough for me to want to take the Ravens and the points. And it'd probably be a little nerve-wracking laying that hook, right?
Yeah, and look, if the Chiefs don't cover, that would make them 0-2 against the spread to start the season, and you don't anticipate that. But Ravens are usually really good after a loss. So, again, one that I'm just not sure on, I would say, at this moment. I kind of want to take Kansas City here. But Harbaugh's a fantastic coach and usually has these guys playing really hard after they lose. So wouldn't surprise me either way.
All right. And then the Monday night game, Detroit at Green Bay. The Packers, who got embarrassed, are laying 11 points here, right?
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions, the comeback kids for you here, Craig?
I could only take Detroit. That's the only team I could take here. After the way the Packers looked, you have to acknowledge that there's a chance it happens again. You have to. I mean, it's the only thing that we've seen. Everyone is going to be on the Packers. Everyone is going to assume Rodgers is mad. Everyone is going to assume it's a night game and people are going to love it. And I cannot do that. And I know that it feels very dirty taking Detroit, but I watched them play against San Francisco. And the one thing that I loved watching them play as opposed to the last few years of them playing Howard is they fought so hard. They just kept fighting to get back in the game. In years past, when they were down, it was just we're done. It's over.
Right.
So if that's the case, what's to stop them from covering in this game? I mean, they could get beat real bad and still cover. So it would only be taking Detroit for me. I will not. After seeing the Packers play last week, I mean, all you're going to hear this week is that, they're so motivated and they're going to take it out on Detroit. That's not the way it works. It is not the way it works in the end. You don't lose by 35 and then the next week it's we just forgot and everything's good now. Maybe the Packers have some issues. Maybe that's possible. So I would only lean toward Detroit.
Only lean towards Detroit. I don't even want to touch that game. Not at all.
Right.
All right, so there you go. Those are the lines. That's what we're, some early leans, some that we feel like we might be locked into. We do know though that the dogs are our friend, and
absolutely.
Yeah. And
one
so
game,
we're gonna.
One game I want to mention before we go.
There's only one game going on in college this whole weekend, Craig. Did you not? I mean, I don't even think any other games exist because you've got Alabama playing Florida, your Gators. Now, you're at home. What's the spread? I was just about to look for it.
Don't look. You're gonna get sick.
Let me see if I can guess it. Is it Alabama minus 12?
More.
16.
No, 14. You were very close though. Good job.
Okay.
Yeah. You were very close. Yeah, I mean the Gators were the only team that came close to Alabama last year, and that's just not being respected. They're getting 14. Florida, they've looked okay. They've looked okay in their first 2 games. They could have looked better. Their backup quarterback, there's a chance, is going to be playing maybe the first pick in the draft in 2 years in the NFL. But they have another quarterback who they're playing right now. His name is Emory Jones. And Jones Howard was sort of in the mix to be a starter, and then Kyle Trask, who you may remember from last year, is in the NFL now. He kind of took over, and Jones sat. And so what happens with colleges, and look, there isn't a lot of loyalty, but it's kind of like Howard Emory Jones has been there 4 years, and they want to give him the opportunity to be the starter. And he's okay. I don't think he's great. He's just kind of okay. But their backup, this kid Richardson, who they have, is probably much better. But they're not going to give him the gig, I don't think, until they lose. And maybe if they lose to Alabama, they could possibly do that. So I'm going to root for Florida. But after what Alabama did to Miami, like, my gosh, like they just crushed them. So I'm going to be hopeful. That they can cover that 14. I think it may be even a little higher, maybe 14.5. But that's the biggest game in college football this week for sure. Not just because I'm a Gator.
What if Alabama goes up early second quarter and it's 21-0, right? And then Emory Jones kind of gets sacked. It's a little slow to get up. You bring the other kid in, boom, and all of a sudden they score. It's 21-7. And isn't that nice? And wow, they just turned the ball over. Oh, they just went down the field. It's 21-14, Craig. I'm trying to get this so I can, actually see what your face looks like when you're pooping in your pants. But
what you just said is what they've been doing, though. They've been playing the other kid. He's been throwing touchdown passes. He's looked better than Emory Jones, but look, it's just kind of what happens is that if you sit and you wait behind other quarterbacks for years, you're going to get your opportunity to play. And Felipe Franks, he played behind for a bit, and then Trask, he played behind, and they're going to give him a chance. I don't blame them for giving him a chance. But last week they played South Florida. They were 28-point favorites. They went up. The Gators went up on South Florida, I think, like 28-0 or 21-0, and then they just like Emory Jones started throwing picks, and it just they won the game easily. But that's a team they should have beaten by 40. So. This is not the best Florida team that we've seen. They don't have Trask, they don't have Pitts. Like they lost a lot from that. Kadarius Toney, but hopefully they'll be able to stay in the game. That's all I can ask for Saturday. So,
all right.
No other games to talk about. That's the only one I'm interested in.
That's That's fine. That's fine because Friday night when you and I are making our picks for the Nugget and the Super Contest, we'll have more college picks for you guys. Again, we went 2-1 in college overall and 3-2 in the for the pro game. So above 500, that's not bad for the first week. This week is where we get it, man. I think we're like-minded on a lot of these lines.
I agree,
and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So we'll call it a night at that. Big thank you to everybody for watching, liking, subscribing. Big thanks to John Impemba, who filled in as our producer tonight. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Wager Alarm live stream, and we'll catch you next time.